will say one thing about Islamic terrorism. It has made white people and black people a lot happier to see each other in the airports. I do not have 1 ounce of racial discomfort with black people on a plane. I don't care if I'm the only white face. It could be me and the Wu-Tang Clan.
That was a tasty morsel from the main course. That is the HBO Special, Jim Norton, Monster Rain. It will be filling both your ear and eye holes this Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And the DVD in front of you, Jim Norton's first hour-long HBO Special hits stores Tuesdays at fine stores everywhere. That's a bit repetitive.
Well said.
I should be editing something.
We have something in store for you in store.
Exactly. You. All right. Well, you've been with us the whole show. I want to ask you some questions and further mutilate this introduction. Now, what kind of, in terms of getting hate mail, what of your performance does causes the most anger?
Any aspect where you're making fun of somebody, they're going to have a problem with. Like, I've got anything you do about women, someone's going to say you're anti-woman, or anything that's racial, they're going to say you're racist, anything that's homosexual, homophobic, anybody, people are just self-righteous. Anything that affects their group, they're going to complain about. So I've gotten it from every group, and it's meaningless to me.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's healthy. That's the way we should all be. Now, what happens if a crowd is bad? Like, if let's say you're filming an HBO special, and they suck. What do?
You probably cry, because if you're bombing on an HBO special, you really should put a bullet in your own head. But if I'm at the Comedy Cellar and I'm bombing and I'm doing 20 minutes, believe me, we're all going to feel like we need a shower. I will be the most awful person you've ever seen. I'm disgusting. I'll do pedophilia, anything to violate the audience. You're not ruining my night.
How did you first get on the, when you first started doing stand-up, were you scared when you did it, or did you just have a natural knack?
I was terrified. I wanted shows to get canceled just to like tell myself, like, hey, you showed up. You know, I really never thought it would amount to anything. I was a real coward.
So how long did it take before you got, that comfortable at it?
A couple of years. Once I was making other comedians laugh, I realized, like, oh, all right, you're funny. I mean, that was like the first confidence I got into comedy, was making other just dirtbag comedians laugh.
Oh, that's good. Now, I read your book. There's a lot in there about hookers.
Yeah.
Explain to me why procuring hookers is better than procuring drugs, because you make a valid point about that. And also, as a consumer, I'd like to know how you do it and what are the tips to avoid the bad ones.
Right, yeah, of course. Well, the beautiful thing about prostitutes is, I mean, drugs is just, I've been sober for 20 years.
Yeah.
So as living a spiritual life, I figure you just delve right into feeding someone else's drug addiction by giving them money for sex.
There you go.
And Craigslist is where you get the best girls. Craigslist, Eros guy was pretty good, but I prefer Craigslist. Yeah, I like it.
What happens if something arrives that you don't like? I mean, it's not like takeout food where you can just throw it away into the garbage, because you got feelings out of it.
Pimp, yeah.
Pimp as well.
What happens if, like, you're expecting a hot chick and maybe a transgendered friend shows up?
Exactly.
Now you man up and finish.
Oh my God! Well, you don't need a condom with a transgender.
Oh, why would you?
Yeah, you're not going to produce a Jim Norton Jr.
I think there's other extenuating factors you're missing here, Greg.
I do.
Never mind.
No. I missed the entire 80s, so I have no idea. But I always see Village Voice. I'm amazed. Like, what I love about the Village Voice, which is a New York paper, they're very liberal and left-wing, and they have all these stories. And then you go to the back, nothing but escort ads. And you know that if you took away all those escort ads, that paper would dissolve.
Sure.
Exactly.
Money is.
But have you ever used those ads?
Oh God, of course. When do I not? But they're like old hat. The Village Voice. I mean, go to the computer because you can see pictures. You can Google search phone numbers and see if they're in different ads and get different photos. Believe me, it's so much fun to have. I don't really go to the magazines anymore.
Really? I feel like I missed out on a whole universe.
All I know is I'm playing out my night presently. It's gotten a lot better.
I read something about you. You're an avid autograph collector.
And photos. I like photos. Yeah.
Now, can you tell me who are the people that are the biggest jerks?
The guy I hated the most was Jeter. I got a photo of Jeter, and then he wouldn't sign it the next time I saw him. He was like a real... De Niro blew me off, but he was nice about it. I think that just my groveling brought out a shame in both of us. I tapped him, and I went, Bob? I called De Niro Bob. He should have spit in my face. I was so starstruck. I'm like, he won't realize that we don't know each other if I go, Bob? I really should just be shocked.
Quickly, tell me about, there was a piece in the New York Post today about basically comics accusing each other of stealing material. Does this happen to you? Has anybody ripped you off, and are there common abusers?
Not to my knowledge. I've never been ripped off, and I think a lot of it is I talk about my own prostitute addiction, my own stuff, my own celebrity encounters, so I try to keep it personal.
Yeah.
But, you know, joke thieves, I mean, like, Mencia was accused of it, and him and Rogan went back and forth. I mean, it got very ugly. Guys that are accused of it will always have to face up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, Dane had a thing with Louis C.K., which they've, I think, worked out since then.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's an ugly thing to be accused of. You don't want to be accused of
it's basically, in our business, it's plagiarism. Or in Bill's business, rape. Anyway, we must move on. Jim, fantastic. The DVD, Monster Rain, is the name of his HBO comedy. It airs Saturday. The DVD comes out Tuesday.